What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to version 1. This is loud. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to version 1. Now you join me today out here in this miserable weather because the Megane seems to have a boost leak. Did a little smoke test on it yesterday before the MOT and we found a point of failure, well 2 points of failure, which we're going to go through in this video and I'm hoping is a super easy fix. If not, then I know what I'm going to be doing going forwards. So roll the intro and we'll dive into it. So before we get into today's video, if you enjoy this content, make sure you leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you are new, as it really helps us out. And we're delving into the problem today, like I mentioned in the intro briefly, as we have a boost leak. Now, checking all the piping, we smoke tested it yesterday because I saw little points of failure and stuff, and I just wanted to basically make sure that my work was solid. And it is. The intercooler, there's no leak on the intercooler side, and any of the forged pipes that I installed as well, there's no issues with any of those. But there was a leak where the spacer plate, the forged spacer plate, meets the original recirc valve. So today we're going to hopefully sort that out, because either the forged spacer plate has a fault, and I don't really think there's much to be faulted with it because it's just basically a plate of metal, but maybe something in the design isn't quite right and it's causing this to, like, with a little bit of a blow by, or the recirc valve is on its way out, because I know these things have plastic internals, so not exactly the most reliable thing. So first things first, I'm going to put the GoPro up here over on the right, and I'm just going to start the car and just see if it dumps, because even when I've put this on for the first time, it was still dumping, even though it wasn't really under full engine load. So if this isn't working, it won't dump properly at all. So if I can hear, normally you can hear this moving, you can hear it moving in and out, and if it isn't moving and you can't hear it from the audio on the camera, then it means that the problem isn't with the plate, it's actually with the recirc itself. So let's whack the camera up on the side and see how we get on. So I don't know how audible that was from the camera, as I haven't obviously watched the footage back yet. I listened to it on the GoPro and you can hear it, but from inside the cabin I can clearly hear that the recirc is working. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the forged pipe off, the forged spacer, and I'm going to put the recirc back to standard and hope that everything seals up. But if I do take the forged plate off and look at the O-rings nipped or something, then that's going to be obviously where the air leak is coming from. So one thing at a time, let's whack the forged plate off and see what happens. So I'm going to put this back on because maybe that wasn't reaching with the point where it was supposed to, but obviously it was in that way. Oh yeah, so maybe, yeah, maybe this, I don't know if this is taking damage, but it looks fine. Maybe this isn't contacting in here close enough, so the blow-by is in here, like I say, because there was no failure on these rings this side, there was no smoke this side or this side, so it's just out of these holes. That's why I was asking you guys if this is open or shut when it's off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this back and then I'm going to go for a little test drive and see what happens, see if it sounds any different, feels any different. What I will do as well, just to double triple check, is I'll unplug this and do a little pass, because when you unplug this, obviously the recirc doesn't know what the f***'s going on, so it starts doing mad flutters and stuff. So if that does that and then it flutters a lot more, then I'll know that this is definitely working and there is some sort of problem with this forged spacer. So let's see. Just before I quickly put this back, I just thought I'd show you guys. So I don't know if you're going to be able to see this on camera, but when I put this back to its original point position, you can see it's like it's bouncing back. I can feel it on my hand. So the actual, this little piston must be touching that to a certain degree because it's trying to push it back out. Now I don't know if the forge was doing that, or that could be the problem itself, that there was not enough contact between the piston and the forged spacer valve itself. So interesting. So there's now going to be Where there wasn't an oh well, there's an O-ring seal here, but then obviously it used the factory one here. So again, O-ring seals weren't the issue because there wasn't air coming out either side, it was coming out the middle, out the circle. So let's see if this is gone or not. That's everything buttoned up as it was. Not really a point of failure anymore, unless there's, like I say, some sort of blow-by, but we'll do a start, a couple of revs, see what it sounds like, and then we'll just go for a spin and see what it feels like. Hopefully it feels a bit more lively, but like I say, I'll definitely take this off and see if the recirc is working, because that's going to be the clearest way to understand if that's working or not. But I think the next vid is going to be a GFB diverter valve, just because for peace of mind now, because clearly stuff in here might not be able to take the up to boost. I'm not saying there's going to be a massive noticing boost. It's going to be like, whoa, it's going to be really fast. It's definitely less noise coming from that. But it's definitely doing more chatters, because it seems to be there's a definite noticing volume. The volume it's nowhere near as loud as it was. Just got to try and get it to load and get him to load. Second there in the dry. It definitely feels more alert without the spacer. I don't know whether that was causing delay, or maybe this is what it feels like with the boost it's meant to have. But like when I did a couple of digs with people in Mexico, when I used to put my foot down, yeah, it just feels much quicker to get back on. That's how I can describe it. It feels much quicker to get back on boost, especially in the, this is fourth. Yeah, interesting. So what I'm going to do, now I've done that, is I'm going to pull up real quick. I'm going to unplug the brown valve, and it should make a hell of a lot of noise on the turbo. So that's providing that the recirc isn't broken. Okay, the brown plug is off and it says check injection. Didn't like that. Lot more chatter. So yeah, I think the recirc's fine. I'm obviously not going to run this for long like this, because I don't like it. So much more chatter. So I think that settles it basically. I'm going to go down this straight again and give it once more, just to double check. So the actual unit is fine, but something between that forged spacer and the standard recirc don't quite mold together to the point where it doesn't result in a boost leak. Right, so I thought I'd clear this up and jump in while I'm here editing, because this wasn't clear at the time. Looking at the forged piece, as you can see in there has been contact made, so the piston has been making contact with the metal. But I'll try and get that up on screen for you to see now. Compared to this, the standard part actually has a recess on this inner rim, so the piston looks like it goes in slightly. I'll try and, like I say, I'll try and get that up on screen for you now for you to see. But I think where this is completely flat, it's just sat on it, and the smoke that was coming through in the blow-by is just literally from where it's just coming out the sides. Now, as you saw, the piston is just literally a metal or plastic round edge, so it's not going to be airtight. So I think the standard unit, where this doesn't have it, where it has that recess on this inner edge in here, the piston can sit in it, if that makes sense. Whereas opposed to this, it's sitting on it. I hope that makes sense, and I hope that clears it up. The recess in the standard part is why I think this isn't working. So maybe we can sort that out and have a V2 of one of these. Yeah, so the car definitely feels stronger without it. And not monumental differences, but just then when I booted it down there, I was like, you know what I mean? I just leant on it in third gear and it really got on song. It's very interesting, very interesting. Like I say, I'll keep you guys updated, and hopefully like myself and Forge can work side by side in getting something a bit more robust together, and we'll see what happens. So going forwards, like I say, I think unfortunately I'm going to leave the SPACER plate off. If you guys choose to keep yours on, I know some of you watching this will have it on, then it's entirely up to you. But personally, at this stage, I wouldn't run it in its current iteration. I have messaged, emailed Forge, and like I say, I'm going to speak to those guys and see if we can come up with like maybe a V2 of it or something that means that this won't happen, and something like I say, like where the design is slightly tweaked so that you don't get any of that blow by. So at this moment in time, I'm going to keep it off, potentially go for a GFB diverter valve that I had actually on my Clio. So that could be the next video. But until then, obviously, if you did enjoy this video, make sure you leave a like rating, smash that subscribe button if you are new, and ring that bell notification to find your way back for any future content. Appreciate your support. As per usual, get down at me in the comments if I haven't answered anything, and I'm sorry if this video is all over the place and a bit of a mess, but I wanted to get this boost leak sorted as quickly as possible, as I'm sure you can appreciate. So catch you in the next one, guys. Peace.